Oh my gosh, I think we did it. We are live on Facebook.
Yes.
We're recording. This is
our first remote.
This is our first remote episode, the garage episode.
Yes.
Hey Ted, how's it going?
The garage episode. How are you doing, John?
Good.
How are you doing?
It's the weekend, so
yeah. Good week.
Yeah.
You know, I keep looking at the weather all over the country, and so we're so dang lucky to be here. I know it's been a kind of a crummy week for us just with wind, but man, we're pretty darn lucky to be here.
No, that's right. You know, 50 degrees and we're cold, but nothing like what Texas is like, obviously. And I've lived in Texas, and I know what that's like. When you get down into those temperatures, you just don't have, the houses just are not built to withstand any of that type of weather at all.
Yeah.
But
so did you get much training done this week?
What's that?
Oh, did you get much training done this week?
You know, same base training I'm doing right now. I'm you know, ramping things up, but I'm trying to do it really, you know, carefully, and you know, just doing my consistent training as we've talked about, and you know, so building up, because I've got 15 weeks before the next race on the calendar. Yeah, so hopefully that happens.
Yeah. So you're just in that, you know, still in the base phase. This week was my first week of my build phase for 70.3 St. George. So it was a little bit of a shock to the system this week. I got a little crazy this week because you know, we had the duathlon last weekend. Then I had my normal Zwift race on Tuesday night, which was a killer. Then I did the first ever Zwift duathlon on Wednesday. And so when I added it up, if you separate out the runs and the rides, I had 5 races in the last like 6 days.
Oh, nice.
So kind of crazy. Kind of a crazy week, but still, it was good. I came out of it unscathed, so it's good. No injuries.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Good week. Lots of intensity this week. So this weekend's going to be long, slow base building, but it was a good week for me too.
Yeah. I'm not near any type of race fitness, but if a race came up, I'd like to go do it. I'm ready. We're ready to reboot the year, right?
I know, right? It was actually pretty fun to get out and do that duathlon outside last week, even though the weather wasn't very good. I can't even imagine when you went how bad it was. Because you went on Sunday, right?
But I think it was partly my fitness, but it was windy for you guys on Saturday as well. I went on Sunday.
Yeah, it was you know, as I was coming down the one descent to go out to the start, I was like, man, this is gonna be rough. You can barely hang on.
Well, that's great. That course is such a good course to do a time trial.
Yeah,
I really like that. And my goodness, Ted, nice run course. What the heck? You warned me about the hill, and that's a hill.
Yeah, you know, the best part is though, you only have to work hard for the first half. You know, like first 12 minutes work hard, and then the next just cruise. Yeah,
but you know what's interesting? My heart rate was the highest coming back down that hill. So
you want to know something? Mine was high on the way too.
Yeah, so that was just, I don't know if it was a cumulative effect that was happening or what, but I was obviously running faster coming downhill.
Yeah,
it was
I think it's a combination of that, and then like it was a 5K, it might be different, but because it was a duathlon, it's the cumulative effect of heart rate probably, because you were redlining on the bike.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think it could be that for sure.
Always fun to get out, fun to do.
Anyways, let's talk about the garage and what we got going on tonight. So what are we gonna do tonight for the people?
Well, let's do bike anatomy. We did shoulder anatomy. Let's do bike anatomy. And, I know.
Yeah, I don't have any cool software.
Yeah, I talk with a lot of people, and a lot of times, just getting the common words down in terms of which part of the bike we're talking about is important. And so I think that'd be good. And then let's talk a little bit about some of our favorite bike tools.
Yep. Yep. That sounds like a plan.
All right.
So, do you want me to go through the anatomy of my bike, or you want to do yours, or what do you want to do?
No, go. Let's start on yours. I can roll around to my other side here. All right, I get my bike there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go through.
All right.
Let's go through yours. Because my bike anatomy is a little different.
So your bike anatomy is completely different. You don't have some of the same things that I have. That's for sure. But the nice thing is we both have UNLV colors.
That's right.
Which is good, right? We both have the black and red, which is with white accents. So that's a good thing. So I figured we would maybe start in the rear and then kind of move our way forward. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay. And I may or may not use the same terminology that you use. So
yeah, no, this will be good.
Okay. The first thing. I think that the first thing to think about and to talk about is you and I both on our triathlon bikes use electronic shifting.
Yes.
So we are not going to have some of the same things that someone that, for example, didn't have electronic shifting. And, that being said, I personally would never buy another bike without electronic shifting. I think we've talked about that before. I don't know. I think it's the greatest thing ever. I've had it now for 5 years. This bike is actually 5 years old this month, I think, actually. Or no, in March, it'll be 5 years old. And so I've had electronic shifting since then. And I think that's a really nice thing. So we'll start in the back with this little guy here. And so this is the rear derailleur. And the rear derailleur, what the rear derailleur does is it controls the shifting on the cassette. So this is in here, this is the cassette. And the cassette is really interesting too, because we can change out cassettes. Mm-hmm. And we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but so this is an 1128. So I have 11 speeds or 11 cogs here, mm-hmm. and 28 cogs here. This is a good cassette for riding around Las Vegas because it's pretty good for hills. It's pretty decent for hills. If I race somewhere that's flat or flatter, I have an 1125. If it's really flat, so when I've raced in Miami, I have where there's literally no hill at all. Mm-hmm. I have a 1223. So there's not that much step in between, and so you have a lot more basically control of ultimately, I guess, the feel and the torque as you go.
Okay, so let me jump in and let me pull the cassette up. See if I think I need to unpin your camera. All right, so and folks, we're trying something new. So
I got a bunch of cassettes, John. Here.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, here we go. So this is my I think this is a 1223.
Okay.
So you can see how small the 23 actually is.
Yeah.
And then I have here's another camera. Here's my other 1128, which is pretty large. And then on my road bike right now, I actually have a 30 tooth. And just because I'm a little bit lazy when I climb, it makes it a little bit easier.
And just so we can compare notes. So folks, when you get into biking, you tend to collect cassettes because a lot of times you want to change your cassette out based upon which course you are going to be riding. And so like Ted, I've got a variety of cassettes as well. And they're a little pricey, but to have the right cassette makes a huge difference. So
yeah, and the thing is that they're a little pricey, but they last a long time if you keep them clean.
Yep.
it's kind of like everything else in your bike. Believe it or not, keeping your bike clean and keeping the drivetrain especially clean will allow it to live longer. There is actually some good research on this, especially with chains. If you keep your chain clean, it will, it could last. A good chain like this could last 3,000-4,000 miles, maybe 5,000 miles of like hard work. If you keep it clean. If you don't, they don't last as long, and the cassettes don't last as long.
No, totally. And so I'll take the cassette off, I'll put it in a bowl, and I soak them in kerosene. Is what
I use different solvents and stuff like that all the time. Oh, here comes Cosmo.
Hey, Cosmo.
Cosmo wanted to be in on the podcast tonight. So I actually over here behind me, I actually have an ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah.
So I use the ultrasonic cleaner to clean my chains and my cassettes. I think that's a really good idea.
No.
Okay, and just so you know, like the ultrasonic cleaners, they're not expensive. I bought quite a decent one for like $60.
Yep, that's good.
And it's actually it not only does it have the ultrasonic, it actually heats as well. So I can get mine up to like 60 degrees Celsius or higher. And because I use wax-based lubes and I wax my chains, it actually is good because the heat helps take the wax away.
Oh, interesting. So
when I want to replace those.
Do you have to do your
I think I lost you.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Came back. Maybe. This is the beauties of us doing our first garage episode. We kind of thought something like this might happen. But anyways, if we go back onto my bike, this next piece here is called the pulley cage. And so these are the pulleys. You have a lower pulley and an upper pulley. And you can see the chain basically serpentining through the pulleys. Once again, you got to keep those clean as well. And I just rub them, wipe them down for the most part, keep those clean. There's another piece in here that actually connects your rear derailleur to your frame. And this is a really, really important piece. And it's called a derailleur hanger. And the only thing I can tell you is this. I can tell you a bunch about derailleur hangers, actually. I could probably talk for 10 minutes about derailleur hangers, but make sure you have a spare. Okay, that's the number one rule. If you are traveling to a race, or actually just at any point, these things can bend. They're meant to bend, and they're actually meant to break. If you crash, this could potentially break. But what it does is it doesn't break your frame, and it doesn't break your derailleur. It ends up shearing off. Now, when you travel, be careful that you take, especially if you're going to. I always take mine off. Take the rear derailleur off, and then that will make a less chance of you breaking your derailleur hanger. But always bring a spare derailleur hanger with you, because you just aren't going to be able to get them. Like, this is an Argon bike. This is a very specific part to an Argon bike, is to have that Argon derailleur hanger. And so make sure you always keep a spare. The other thing is that on 11 speeds and 12 speeds now, the alignment of the derailleur hanger is super, super important. And so when we go through the tools, actually I have a tool that you can use to determine if your derailleur is in alignment or not. And so if you have problems with your shifting, oftentimes the derailleur hanger is bent. And it's pretty much one of the first things you want to look for when your derailleur hanger, when your bike is not shifting well. Okay.
No, that's
so
great. And
derailleur hanger.
Just to emphasize.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah. Just to emphasize, it's your hanger is specific to your frame.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I actually have, for my road bike, I've got a couple. I bought a couple, and I think I've got 3 for this bike. I found them on sale at one point on the internet, and then I bought 3 of them because I think they were $19 each. So I keep one in my toolkit. I keep one in my travel kit now. I got a little, and there's horror stories of people traveling like to Europe to race or something like that, and they break a derailleur hanger and they literally can't get one. And even to order one, an Argon 18 one, the last time I had to order one, it took like 10 days to get here. And that was to an Argon dealer. So it's not like people just have these things sitting around. And John is right. There's literally, I don't know, 1,000 different designs for derailleur hangers. And so it's something to kind of to keep in mind. Okay. Obviously we have the chain, pretty easy there. And then we start looking at the front of the drivetrain. We have some more pieces here. Okay, so this is now the front derailleur. And it's a pretty simple mechanism. We only have 2 choices here between cogs. So there's an outer, well, these are called chain rings. There's an outer chain ring and an inner chain ring. And I am a chainring junkie. So I've got up here 8 different chain rings that all fit this bike. And they're different sizes. I have some that are oval. I have some that are circular. And same thing, like this is a 55 tooth chain ring, and the 55 goes with the 42. I have a 53 that goes with a 39. I have circle and oval for each size. And once again, it depends on the course. What I ultimately choose. The time trial we did last weekend, I was spinning out because we had to have a pretty good tailwind for some of that, and I wish I had a bigger front chain ring.
So let me ask you.
A 55 is big to begin with.
Go ahead. Let me ask you, when you because you have DI2, you have a 2-button DI2?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 buttons, one to shift up, one to shift down. How much adjusting do you have to do in your DI2, if at all?
When I change the chain ring?
Yeah.
You don't. All you have to do, or all I've had to do, is go up or down with this, with the front. So the front derailleur, there's a screw here in the front that you can actually lower it or raise it. So the bigger issue when you change your chain ring is you usually have to change your chain. Right. So to go to a bigger chain ring, I need an extra 2 links. And so actually I have a shorter chain for when so I don't have to be messing around with the link pins. And but yeah, so obviously my right crank, there's lots of different choices of cranks and lengths of cranks. One of the things that is kind of coming into vogue nowadays, we've talked a little bit about this, is shorter crank arms, and definitely shorter crank arms on your time trial bike compared to your road bike. And it has a lot to do with hip angle, and we will talk about that with maybe an anatomy app one time as well. So these are 170 crank arms. I actually kind of wish I had a 165 nowadays, but when I bought it, my road bike had a 172.5, and I was like, well, I'll go shorter on this one. And now I wish I had it even shorter. So because I've done some video analysis of myself, and I really do get kind of locked up. And what I mean by locked up is when my foot comes forward, comes here, the distance between my foot and my hip isn't great enough. And so my hip angle gets closed down up here. And then obviously pedals, and once again, lots of choices of pedals. I have in my garage 1, 2, 3, 4 bikes right now. You have lots I can see as well. I keep them all the same because then I don't have to change my shoes and the cleats of my shoes. If I had to do it all again, I don't know if I'd go with these same pedals, but it's hard to change 4 sets.
I know once you get into it, because I got the same pedals on all my bikes, and obviously the same cleat. And boy, I do not like changing my cleat, because then just off a little bit, it's you feel it. It's amazing.
Like a 0.5 millimeter, and it feels so foreign, doesn't it?
And it may not even be a difference. It may just be in my head, but so.
Yeah, but especially if you start thinking about the rotation, I think you really do feel that. And there's a, so, but yeah, you're absolutely right. As far as the other things, obviously we have our brakes. So my brakes are actually up here. I still have rim brakes. I am going to fight the fight as long as I can to not have disc brakes on my time trial bike.
Nice. I still think I think the way we're going to go, I think what's going to happen is we're going to have disc on the back and caliper on the front. That's what I think will happen.
I think it's going to go disc. Like, because I'm looking at it now, like this year, this is like the 2021 bikes. You can't find a new time trial bike that does not disc in front and back nowadays. So, I was actually
swinging.
I'm not in the market. I'm not in the market for a new bike, but I'm always in the market for a new bike. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I found some like 2020 bikes that were still rim brakes. I'm like, maybe I should just buy one because I might not be able to. And just store it, because.
Okay, so now I think it's important because one question I get a lot is, can I just convert my rim brakes to disc brake? And the answer is no.
Absolutely
it's a totally different frame.
Yeah, and that's the other problem, right? Like I have a stable of wheels.
Yeah.
Right, and so like thousands of dollars worth of wheels that I will have to change.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that either. And so, anyways, we've talked a lot about that.
You can't convert your frame, nor can you convert your wheels one way or the other. So that's why I resisted going to disc brakes for a long time, but not a long time because they haven't been around that long. But I did resist it simply because of the number of wheels. But I eventually bit the bullet, and I do like it because I ride my bike to work, and I do like the disc brakes for that. I know you lose a little bit with aero, especially on the front, but that's for another episode.
Yeah. Well, on my commuting bike, I have disc brakes.
There you go.
So there you go. Okay, so we talk about the front end a little bit. I'm going to try and move my camera. Okay, so just.
You want to switch cameras, or you're going to move? Okay.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So on the front of any bike, really, we have this piece here, and this is the head tube, and they're different. The bikes have lots of different head tubes and different designs. Mine's got a bearing on the bottom and a bearing on the top, and it's kind of squishes together. It's kind of the best way to put it. Actually, I screw it together. My in here is my little DI2 computer piece. So this is nice because it's all integrated. Only a couple little tiny wires are sticking out. Then, time trial bikes are going to have these things called extensions, forearm extensions and forearm pads. And then I've got shifters on these. This is actually called the bull horns, or this part of your handlebar. So I've got shifters and brake levers on both sides. And then shifters up here. I don't know if you can see that. Shifters up here as well. Yeah. And then front brakes, front hub, 2 wheels. And I think we've pretty much, that's the anatomy of the bike. Well, fork. This is a fork.
Yep.
And not recently, it seems recently because it's like the second last race ago, but in 2019, I broke my fork actually. So that's a replacement fork.
Okay, so let's point out a couple of the frame names. So you did head tube. I like that because when you go to an Ironman, you have to put a sticker on like your handlebar stem. That's this part. Okay.
Yep.
And this is my head tube, my fork, my down tube, which you have on yours as well.
Yep.
Top tube.
Yep.
C tube, which I don't have.
You have no seat tube.
No C tube.
This is my seat tube here. And then these are the stays. Yeah. So these are the rear stays.
Yeah.
And technically it's a triangle and a triangle. And if your bike was UCI legal, mine isn't either, by the way. You would have you would have, you have to have two triangles.
Yeah.
You have to have a front triangle and a rear triangle to make a bike legal.
Yeah.
To ride in like a road racing time trial. But because we're doing triathlons, we can pretty much do anything we want, which is awesome.
Yep. And then these are my disc brakes.
Yep.
Can you see that all right? Yeah. Disc brakes. And my brake is a little bit bigger. I do need to replace that. And there's two kinds of disc brakes. One is hydraulic and the other is mechanical. I have mechanical simply because I was spending too much already, and my wife was saying, okay, your budget's cut off. So I had to go with the mechanical disc brake.
John, how much more were the hydraulic? I don't know.
The mechanicals were like 40, $50, I think. And the hydraulic was like, oh, I don't remember, but it was like $200. It was a lot more expensive.
That's significantly more.
It was.
So,
it was hard to.
I gotta be honest with you. So on my road bike, I have hydraulic, and I gotta be honest. I don't really like. I like them, but I have no idea how to work on them.
But I also, it's not just the brake; it's also your brake levers have to be different. These brake levers were a lot less expensive than the hydraulic. So that was the other part of the whole hydraulic system included the brake and the tubing that goes up. Did I conk out again?
But the system you have, the wired system, is easier to work on.
I like it. I like the mechanical aspect of the wire. I can adjust it really quickly. No, that's been good. And it's funny because that's what you and I had talked about this when I was building this. And I didn't want the hassle of hydraulic to just get it right because, man, you bend this just a little bit, this brake rotor, and now all of a sudden you cannot get your brakes set, where you're having the right amount of brake pressure on the pad. So.
No, you're speaking the truth there. That's one of the reasons I don't like disc brakes in general, but yeah. Okay, so should we, anything else anatomy of the bike? Should we do some tools?
You've got storage. What is your storage on your bike? You've got a bag.
I've got top tube. Yeah, I got top tube storage here, and so in a race I keep nutrition in here.
Yeah.
And then I've got this. This bike and a lot of bikes nowadays have this, where this is a 10mm hole that goes right through the top of my seat tube, and then there's different things you can attach into here. So this is an X-Lab Delta Sonic, and then this is a pouch. So I have a water bottle that can fit in here. So I have my spare tubes, CO2s, and tire levers and everything right in here. So it's a really nice setup. I really like that. So I have storage here and storage here.
Nice. Okay,
so let's see your storage. You got the integrated storage.
Yeah, so I've got storage here, which is unique to the Diamond. But when I haven't raced this yet in an Ironman yet. I'll probably put some storage between the bars to give myself a little bit more, or I might put a bag on top of this opening part. And then for my other storage, I don't know if you can see, I've got storage down here as well. And I keep,
we can see.
Yeah, I keep a spare tube, CO2 in there as well. And so that's easy access. And then I obviously keep my rear bag under the seat. So
John, do you have the 10mm hole in the back of in your seat too?
I do. So I could switch that out. So I could switch that bag out. And I don't like that bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you could put something like this in there.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Like it's literally just one piece of aluminum there.
And then I have the single button Synco switch, which actually I did not think I'd like, but I like it. It's really, once you mess around, you can figure out your shifting patterns, and then you have two different settings so that it automatically shifts the front derailleur based upon what gear ratio that you want. And so you can set it up to move relative to gear ratio. So I've enjoyed it. So if you're looking at DI2, the 2-button is nice. You control both derailleurs. The 1-button system controls the 2 derailleurs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of it is what you're used to, or maybe even what your first bike you get is, and you just kind of learn it, right? It's kind of like a stick shift on a car.
Yeah.
Or even not even a stick shift, just like gears on the car, right? Is it here or is it down here? Wherever it is, you get used to it really quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I do miss that on my my old bike, which I've got over there. I do miss the friction shifting mechanical. That is really the manual part. And,
yeah. But you could dial it in really good.
Yeah. Okay, you want to talk tools?
Yeah, I'm gonna take my bike down.
Yeah.
And then
turn it this way.
Okay. So do you want to switch my camera? Or did you already?
Okay, let's do that. Continue there. Okay, you're on the other camera now.
Okay, so this is my tool area, and the truth is I've got tools behind me here, and I got tools everywhere. But what I did for this is I decided to take all of my kind of go-to bike tools and lay them out here. So I actually wonder if I do that, if that's better. Is that better, John, or worse?
It looks that's good. That's vertical now.
Is it easy to?
Hold on.
Is it easy to?
I'm looking at Facebook Live and it's showing the other camera.
Well, I can turn off that other camera. I can leave and just stay on this one. Actually, let's go back to this.
Well, I don't want to lose your
Can
audio.
you pin this one? Oh, that's right, because my audio is on the other one.
Okay.
I can mute that one and then turn this one on.
Okay, no, I think we're good. I'll just watch. I'll watch Facebook because, folks, what we're trying to do is trying to get so his tool camera is on as the main image. So like we've got that little delay on Facebook. But there, it's still switching over to the other camera.
Because it's going off of my voice, isn't it?
Yeah, but if I pin it, it should be going back to. It's actually showing my camera right now, which doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to go to whoever's talking, I think.
Okay, wait a second. I think, okay, hold on. Maybe let's try something else there. Spotlight for everyone. Remove all pins. Okay, continue. Okay, now I think this is
Okay.
is going to go to.
Yeah.
We're learning, folks.
Yeah. First time trying this, especially with the two cameras.
Yeah.
So
okay, yes,
that's good.
That's good. All right, go.
Here's my tool bench, and I kind of took, like I said, kind of my favorite bike tools and laid them out. And I was just going to kind of go through what each tool is for, and yeah, I guess that's probably the best way to go about it. So number one, torque wrench set.
Yep.
So I like it. I like to use a torque wrench set because every bolt on your bike should have a torque setting, and you can use a torque wrench like this. And there's a little gauge. See the little gauge in there, and you can actually set it to however many newtons or newton meters, I guess it would be, for torque. That is required for every bolt. And really, according to your manufacturer warranty on your bike, if you over tighten a bolt, your warranty is not good for that. I learned that when I broke my fork. They told me I over torqued it, but I used the torque wrench, so I know I didn't. But that's neither here nor there.
Mm.
So definitely a torque wrench, and they run about, I don't know, between $50 and maybe $90 for a set like this. But I think it's critical you have one.
And when you're storing your torque wrench, turn it to 0. That's always a good thing. And I know you do that.
Yep. Yep. And then actually I have a travel torque wrench set as well.
Nice.
This is a little tiny torque wrench set that I take with me when I travel. I can actually put my whole bike together with this. And this is a little tiny torque wrench set. So it's nice. Nice.
I've got that kit too, but all of a sudden I just looked around. I'm like, wait a second, where is my kit? It's in the back pocket of a shirt somewhere.
So, and if, for example, like when I'm out riding, I don't bring a whole torque wrench kit with me. I just have a little set of tools for, if I need to adjust something. Okay, next piece. Let's talk about this one because it's fun.
Oh, I like that one.
So
That's quicker than mine.
Yeah, this is a chain whip, but it's I like it better than just a standard.
Yep.
Chain whip. And so if you squeeze onto a cassette like this, then you can hold your cassette as you basically tighten it or loosen it. Actually, it's just really to loosen it, to be honest with you. So that's that tool.
And show the tool that goes with the chain whip, the cassette.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So this is what is it called, John?
Cassette bolt.
A cassette bolt, a cassette bolt remover.
Yeah. So
this is at a very specific grooves that actually kind of looks like your hub, and you remove the cassette bolt with this piece.
Yeah.
This with this together. Okay, so these are kind of a pair.
We'll do cassette change. We won't do that tonight, but we'll do that. Yeah.
Along with the chain, this is a chain cutter and a chain putter back together. I don't know. I'm sure it has a better name than that. But basically, what you do with this, got a chain here handy, is you stick your chain in here, like so. And then if I just twist this, it'll actually pop the pin out, and I can adjust the size of my chain.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually make pins for the chain, and you can actually put a new pin in the chain and join pieces of chain together. Also, along with the chain, and I recommend you should get one of these. This is called a chain checker.
Mm-hmm.
So this actually checks the wear of your chain. So as your chain gets older, what happens is these two pins, the distance between them will get wider. And this basically what it does is as you press down on this, it tells you how many millimeters of play basically your chain has. And then it even tells you here 0.25 to 0.5 is your chain is new, and you want to replace it at 0.75. And you'd be surprised when you ride a lot, when your chain starts to wear, how it gets noisier and noisier, and you may not even recognize it. And then you throw the chain checker on, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm at 0.75, replace your chain.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and a lot of people, honestly, that I know, even triathletes, like, oh my gosh, I've never replaced my chain. My bike's like 5 years old. It's like, oh my, you got to do it. And a little chain checker tool is a good idea. Also with the chain, these two guys. So, so this one says open. This one says close. So these are for quick links. So a quick link is so you can join your chain two ways. You can either use a pin or you can use a little, it's called a quick link adapter. I use quick link adapters and sometimes pins because sometimes I want to just change the size of the chain a little bit. You need a special one to open it and a special one to close it. And this closes your chain. This opens your chain. And that's it for chain tools.
And
This,
I think
go ahead.
everyone should have a quick link in your saddlebag.
Yes.
They're super easy. I actually don't keep them in the case. I take them out. I'm actually looking for a couple of her.
So here's a quick link. This is one side of one. So this is literally just one piece of chain, and then you link it together with another one that looks just like this, and you can take your chain on and off. You can do it with your hands. It's really quite difficult. So that's why you have these two little pliers. All right. So this tool is, I actually think this is one of the most important tools you could have as well. So this is a derailleur hanger adjuster. Okay. So if you ever drop your bike, someone bumps into it, you throw it in your car, something bends into it. Remember we talked about the derailleur. So this tool will actually tell you if your derailleur hanger is bent, so you can actually utilize this to actually re-bend it back into place. Make a part, and I'll show you how to use this. But there's lots of videos on how to use it. And they're kind of expensive. This was, I don't know, like $80 or $90, but I've used it many times. And you'd be surprised how often your derailleur hanger can just be a little bit off. And as soon as you straighten it out, the shifting just gets so much more quiet, and the shifting is just better. And like I said, 11 speed and 12 speeds, the alignment needs to be tighter and tighter on that compared to like an older 10 speed or 9 speed. This is a very important tool.
Yeah, that's so far that's the only tool I don't have that you've got. That I haven't used that.
Okay, next one. Cable cutter.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. Like, I have all these wrenches and tools and all these things, and I'm like, I didn't have something that was specifically made to cut bike cables.
Yeah.
And that's its job, is specifically to cut bike cables. And if you want to cut a nice, clean bike cable, you need a specific cable cutter. And this really helps you. So when you cut a cable and you can want to put a grommet on the end of it, it keeps it all nice and clean.
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah. All right. This is a fun little tool, just plastic. Get a tire on. So sometimes you'll get a new tire and you just cannot get it onto onto your rim. And this side hooks onto the rim, and this side hooks onto the tire, and you use this as a lever to get your tire on. And I know, John, you've spent many hours trying to get tires on.
Yeah.
And especially when we're doing that research with flow cycling, just trying to get tire after tire on. This is my go-to when I can't get one on.
I destroyed my thumbs on that project.
You're up. Okay, next thing. Do you got one of these?
No, I don't. That's a great idea, though.
This is a truing stand. So you can use this to true your wheels. Take some skill to true your wheels, but you can use this with a I didn't bring out my little spoke tension tool. But basically you set your wheel up here, and you can change the height of this piece here, and you can determine how round your wheel is. I actually bought this for truing my rotors on my disc bike.
Oh, nice.
And so this actually works for both, and it is really, it's a little bit of an art to true your rotors, but you definitely need one of these, and you need one of these. So this is a rotor truing tool.
Oh, nice.
So if you're just slightly out of alignment, so basically what happens is you put your wheel here,
Yeah,
and then your rotor goes between these two little things. And you can
Okay.
spin it through and see where it's kind of sticking out a little bit too much. And then you use this tool to kind of wedge your rotor.
looks like that's gonna be on my next Christmas and birthday list.
And more, this, I'm gonna say, what is this thing? So this is for using with hydraulic brakes. And what this does, this presses the caliper. So when you remove your brake pads, this presses the caliper back into place and basically resets your router, your caliper. So it's a little caliper tool. And once again, if you've got disc brakes and you've got hydraulic disc brakes, not a bad little thing to have when you are having issues with alignment. This one, gotta have one of these.
Yep.
Pedal tool, pedal wrench.
Yep.
And I actually have two of these. I keep one in my travel case as well, because you don't want to be without this when you travel.
No.
Yeah, so when you travel, you're supposed to take your pedals off. And when we're traveling a lot, like like my last season of racing, I think I did 3 or 4 or 5 trips where I had to fly with my bike, and definitely have to have a pedal tool, or if you just want to replace your pedals. And
Yeah.
all it is it's a 10 millimeter X key. Okay, I don't even know what this one's called.
I don't either, but I got one.
Yeah. So when you take your wheel off of your bike, but you leave your chain on, so this goes in, and then your chain goes through here, and this can slide back and forth. And you want to clean your chain, or you just want to work on your chain, or pretty much every time I take my wheel off, I put this on, and it just it holds your chain in place.
Yep.
I'm sure it has a fancy name, but I can't remember.
I can't either, but I got it.
Okay, we're gonna get into some intricate little pieces here. Okay, so this is for to remove a crank arm. So this is a specific Shimano tool. It's this little disc thing, and you stick it into the end of your crank arm, and you turn it, and there's a nut in your crank arm that will remove for Shimano cranks. I think I got them right here. No, I don't have a piece for it. And now we're going to get really small. All right, you got one of these?
Oh yeah, several.
Yeah, me too. I got like 3 of them sitting right here. So this is a valve for your tire, a valve removal tool and valve tightener, I guess.
Mhm.
So you can, if you have removable cores for your valves, you got to have one of these to
And there are plastic ones and
take
metal,
it on and off.
and there's plastic and metal.
Yep, yep. I have the metal somewhere. Okay, how about one of these?
Yep, got that.
So this is a Di2 wire removal and I don't know, inserter.
Yep.
So the Di2 wires are supposed to be put in and taken away with these, and some of them, it makes it a lot easier, especially into like on a road bike, into the grips and the handles. This definitely does.
Definitely the front derailleur and the rear derailleur. It's great to have that.
Yep. You got to have a lot of these.
A lot.
We collect them. John, I don't even think you know it a lot.
I like it. You're trying to find the right.
I got a lot.
Same thing.
They're the kind of thing that you're at a store and someone's there like $1, or you're like, oh, I'll take a couple, and you just collect them. The same kind of thing with valve extenders. I got all sorts of valve extenders. Same kind of thing. If I ever see them at a shop and they're on sale, or I just buy them. But yeah, that's most of my go-to bike tools. What do you got that I mean, I got hex wrenches and stuff like that, lots of different things like that, but nothing that specific. What do you got?
Okay, I'll go through some. I have almost all the same tools, but not the same brand. And
Yep.
there's a couple that you have that I don't have. So, but I'll try to, and I think I've got some that you don't have. All right, so I got my torque wrench as well. Okay, here's my torque wrench. All right.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, and I went with a mechanical one instead of a digital one. And so this you just turn and set it to the torque that you want, that little red notch right there. And then put your connector on there, and then you'll stay within the right torque setting. Very important to have one of these. This goes with me when I travel. I do have the same Silka kit. I don't know where it is right now. I think I take that little kit with me when I've done some mechanical on my bike and I'm going for a ride, and I'll take it with me, on the first few rides, just to make sure in case something needs to be addressed out, then I have it ready to go. And I think I had changed out, I don't remember what I changed out, but I was carrying it with me for a while. So, all right, I do have a set of calipers that I like, and you only use these every now and then, different things. This we were actually.
I got mine too, John. I forgot I got that. I got the same kit.
Oh, there you go.
The same kit.
Yeah. They're nice to have. Oh, this is an older torque wrench. An old mechanical one. And these, they're not necessarily that less expensive. This was actually, I think, 40 or 50 bucks just to get this one.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive. Let's talk about the caliper just for a second, because actually I've ended up using this more than I ever thought I would.
Oh, the caliper, yeah. So,
it's amazing, like especially when you're like helping a friend out and helping them out with their bike. Because I know every bolt on my bike inside and out. But if you have you're helping with a friend and you need to replace a bolt or something like that, being able to measure it exactly, and then you go online like, okay, that's the one I need. You could order it, and they're not expensive. I think I bought mine on eBay for like $30 or something like that. No, but they're really nice to have. The other thing I use it for is when I replace cleats.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
No, I actually line it up to the front of the shoe, and I find that works really, really well as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great idea. When I do my cleats, I actually, go around the cleat with marker. Yeah, I messed up my spotlight, but okay, I'm back. Yeah, we'll have to go through, cleat changing at some point. All right, I've got chain breaker as well. But it's just a breaker, not a putter together. I liked your chain whip. This is my chain whip. So a little different, but getting the cassette off. So I obviously pair that up with my big crescent wrench, or my big adjustable crescent wrench. And then my cassette bolt as well. I've got the same chain tool to take links off, quick links off. I've got the same tool, the doohickey thingamajigger that we don't know the name of. I've got the same tool, different brand or different make than you. Chain link checker. And I only got a couple here. Get a good set of Allen wrenches. Just get a good set. They're valuable rather than just hanging on to the small Allen keys. I really like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. A really high quality set. Yeah. It's amazing that if they're exactly the right size, you will strip less of your bolts.
That's right. That's right. And use the right sized one. And then I know I got this, and you wanted it.
Cutter.
Yeah, so
that's C-tube, or that's a head tube cutter.
Head tube cutter. Yep. So fork head tube that goes up in the head tube, and you can cut that down. Cut it. you're pretty much set, so don't cut too short. Let's see, couple.
They make a seat tube cutter like that as well.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I think both of us have an Earl seat too. All right, I think I've got a couple here that you don't have, but you didn't go through a flashlight.
Oh, John, over here, I have so many lights. It's unbelievable. I was embarrassed by how many lights I have.
I know you don't have this though. Maybe you do.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, you got the camera.
The camera, the endoscopic camera. All right. So that goes down inside.
So the nice thing about that is if you're a good friend of John, he'll do a colonoscopy for you as well on the side. So that's the other side of the garage is the colonoscopies.
I have used this a few times.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing to have.
It actually, it's not necessarily a great picture, but it's allowed me to get down inside the frame when I've had a cable break loose, or if I'm having a cable that's really struggling to get routed through the frame, I'll send that camera down inside the frame, and then I can start seeing what's going on. And so it actually has saved my butt a few times when I've been trying to get that set up. And then make sure you get a decent bike stand, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I like yours on the bench there, and I've got a couple of portable ones that I like. But a good bike stand, again, it's one of those things that, I just spend whatever, $100 or, but.
But I tell you what, like, it makes working on your bike so much better.
It does.
Having your bike is not flipping around and moving around, and yeah, for sure.
No, having your bike set, and actually, when I bike in, I just put it on my bike as well.
I'm gonna move to the other camera, John.
Okay.
And it's off when I talk.
I know, it's a word. Now, unfortunately, the way this bike stand works, this should actually be grabbing the seat tube. Okay, this right here. But I don't have enough space here for the seat tube, so I'm stuck on this. When you look at your frame and you are buying a bike stand, make sure that you look at how your bike is supposed to fit on there. Carbon frames don't do well with compression. And so a lot of people will crack their top tube by putting it into a frame stand like this, and they crank it down too hard. So a lot of them, you actually should be putting this part on here. I don't have this very tight at all.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, it's amazing how many times I've heard of that happening, where someone literally they broke their own bike in their stand because they put it on the top tube instead of the seat tube. Yeah, for sure.
And let's see. Oh well, I did pull this out.
Oh yeah, scale.
Weenies, right? That's. And I think those are my major tools. Yeah, and if you're starting out to do your own mechanical work, which I think is a good thing to do, because it is nice to be able to know your bike and know how to fix it, especially if you're out on a ride. But it's also nice to hire someone when you really get to more technical things. I don't true my wheels. I do take my wheels in to get trued. I don't mess with my bottom bracket. I know you do. I don't have the right tools to do my bottom bracket, and
I actually don't either. So I've got to take mine into because I don't have the press. It's because mine are both press fit bearings, and they're expensive. The tool itself is like $300.
No, and I don't mess around with it
enough.
And
the amount of times I've had to change them, I'll take it in.
Not worth it. Take it into a professional. They know what they're doing. And get that set up. But being able to change your chain.
It's actually not that hard. It's not that hard to do. It's just an expensive tool. Like my eyes are always out there on eBay and stuff, looking for if someone's going to sell one. Mm-hmm. If I could grab one cheap, I'd buy one. But you're right. It's it's a lot.
But be able to change your chain clean your chain, clean your cassette, maybe be able to take your cassette off, which is not, I mean, that is something we probably need to go through. If you've never done it before, you do want to be careful because there's one part on there that you don't want to lose. Or you want to know the last spacer, if whether or not you even have one.
Yeah.
That's important. Well, to be able to do some real basic.
Yeah, no, the basic stuff, and especially like I said, if you're going to travel, I think it's imperative. You need to. Well, I don't know. You don't have to, but because you could use tri-bike transport or whatever. But for me, like so often when I go somewhere, I don't want to deal with tri-bike transport because you've done it before. You got to give up your bike so early. And then it's there when you get to the race, but what if you want to ride around a couple days before?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Or if you want to stay after for 3 or 4 days, which I've done many times, I'm in somewhere cool. I want to ride around and, so you lose that ability.
Well, we will do, you did a how to pack your bike in person session. We'll need to do that online again. Because hopefully, we're going to reboot this year. We'll be able to do some travel and some racing, and I think that's where being able to tinker with your bike a bit becomes really valuable when you're at a race site. There's not a lot of bike mechanic options, and you may be standing in line for 2-3 hours just to get a tire changed if you don't know how to change your tire, or something that probably could be done really simply. If you just brought some simple tools with it. You don't need a lot, but you need the right tools, and then.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's you want to be as independent as you can, especially traveling to races, and that's at least my opinion. And honestly, like I didn't take a class. I learned online. I learned by watching YouTube videos, and we're living in this amazing world where we can learn all these things online. And the other thing I suggest is if you can, like Argon is great about their manual for their bike. It literally is amazing. I have digital copies of it, and it takes out literally every bolt and how to put everything together, how to torque everything. Nice. And so I think I told you this before, but the first Christmas I had the bike, first Christmas break, I decided I was going to take the bike completely apart, every bolt, everything.
Yeah.
And I did it. And then when I did that, I actually ordered every bolt.
Yeah.
So I had backups for every single bolt. It ended up costing me, honestly, like $25 or something like that. But I ordered like 25 of everything because it was cheap. It was so cheap. Like 25 costs the same as 5.
Yeah.
And so now I got a little case with every single bolt in my bike. And I know where everything goes. And,
that's awesome.
It took me some time. There was a learning curve, but now it's kind of a ritual. At Christmas break, I do the same thing. I take it apart, clean every piece, and rebuild it. And now it only takes a couple hours now to do, but it's good practice. Yeah,
I did something similar. I built the bike from the ground up. Obviously, did the frame, but I did the same thing. I had to order all the parts. And on one hand, you think it's just a bike, it's not going to take that. There's a lot of little details, and there are some skills that you do need to learn as you go along. Something as simple as being able to cut the cable the right way, use the right tool. That seems simple, but you gotta work on it, and you gotta try it, and you gotta make mistakes and do it again. But I did this thing. It was really valuable to be able to build up a bike from the ground. I built this one the same way. I don't have a manual, but I've got the owner's phone number.
It's also really nice.
Hey, what's with this bolt? How come this one is doing that? And oh no, do it this way. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. No, that is pretty nice to have the phone number. But like, it's amazing if you get in and you really look for manuals, you can find them.
Yeah.
Because I've helped people with some of their bikes and they weren't readily available. And you get in deep into the internet, you can find a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing what's out there. So
yeah.
Well, good. We covered a lot.
Yeah, that was a good talk tonight.
I can't tell how long have we been going. We're
Well, it's 7:17, so we've been going just over an hour.
Oh, no, all right. That's good. Well, I'm cold.
Yeah, I got my garage door open, so I'm a little
Oh,
chilly too.
Yeah.
That's why I put a jacket on.
Well, you're
All right, John. Well, hey, it was really awesome talking to you. As always, have a great weekend. Supposed to be windy tomorrow again, but hopefully nice on Sunday. So I don't know if you're going to get out for
both days, so get some nice riding in and that'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I got a nice little ride in this afternoon. The weather was just too nice to sit inside on the computer. I was like, oh, I can catch up on work tomorrow when it's windy.
That's right.
You gotta take the days when you can, when it's good.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I unfortunately had a lot of meetings still throughout the day, but that's all right. It's we're getting there. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's have a good weekend.
All right.
Good training.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.